is being able to capture the moments of for the runners. Because back then when I was running, I noticed that there wasn't a lot of photographers along the way. The only photographers that we see is at the finishing point. So there was a time where I waited. My husband, he joined more races than me, so I will accompany him to the races. So instead of waiting for him, I myself pick up my camera. So that kind of got me into photography. And instead of capturing those runners like towards the end of the race, I'll capture them in the middle of the race. So that is a moment where that is a time where you can really see the expression of the runners, because either they are very tired by the time or they are still very energized when they see the camera, because they know that, oh, there's a photographer in front, I must like maintain a nice posture so that I will be able to get a good shot.
I think the night shoot is quite challenging for us. Besides the night shoot, the other condition that is not favor us is a rain. Rainy day is very difficult for us to shoot because we need to find shelter as the first criteria, because our equipment cannot be exposed to the wet weather. So if there isn't any shelter or for us to hide or whatever, for us to take our shot, right, we have to so-called call it a day. That's a sad part.
Pre-race before the shoot, I normally will study the route, and I will choose a place where there's a better background, and so that we have a better bouquet of runners, and also the space where it must be not so cramped, and then it's wide enough so that I can have a better composition of runners. This is how I choose, and also on the lightings, the background. Hopefully, normally I will not choose where there's a lot of trees, so that there won't be any shady.
During my first 2 years as a physiotherapist, I also got the opportunity to be attached to Football Association Singapore. Okay, so I actually got to learn a lot of stuff from Ms. Yeo Hui Kun, who was head physio there at that point of time. Okay, so she actually guided me in terms of how to manage a soccer team, techniques that we can actually use to actually treat soccer players, and I found that very, very useful. In my growth as a physiotherapist. Okay, so my first 2 years was a juggle between Changi Hospital, and also going to Jalan Besar Stadium in the evenings to actually take care of the soccer players. Everyone who comes through my clinic doors will get entirely the same treatment. Okay, I always aim to understand that individual or that patient as a person. Okay, and I would always assess functions. Okay, so the only difference would probably be in terms of the functional assessment that I do for that patient. Okay, so for example, if you're not an active athlete, okay, you are a housewife and you do a lot more like lifting of your laundry baskets, kind of like taking the clothes or hanging the clothes out through the window. So my functional assessment will be based upon whatever that you do in your daily living. Okay, so for a sports person, I'll probably assess things like your hops, how you actually do single leg stuff, probably more high level, high impact exercises. Like plyometric hops from boxers. So that's probably the only difference that that I'll probably take when I see someone who's not active in sports compared to someone who's very, very active in sports.
For every component of coaching, right, I'm probably part of the breed of coaches who believes in trying it out ourselves first. A lot of coaches learn based on experience. Yeah, you study the theory and then you have your whole set of guinea pigs whom you test on, and then hopefully you evolve from there. But for me personally, it's about testing it out myself because I'm probably a very kinesthetic person. I need to do it physically before I understand the movements involved. And teaching any discipline, the technicalities of it is easy to pick up. You can read about it, you can try to understand it. But when you start to execute it, therein lies the difficulties where you realize what's missing in order to create that movement, in order to get the result that you want. Like throwing a shot, yeah, easy, I can just stand and throw. But how do I get the shot further? I need to get stronger. Or I need to create momentum, and then when you start asking questions, you start having to find answers, and we always want to be able to demonstrate. Yeah, there will come a stage when I'm probably 70 and if I'm still around, I won't be able to demonstrate. But at that stage, I must be able to verbally explain already. But when you're a young coach, I believe your athletes would probably look up to you better if you can actually do the demonstration and show it to them. And they relate much better from you, rather than standing on the sidelines and shouting instructions and no one comprehends what on earth you want. But the moment you can show and tell, the coaching experience is very different. And also that keeps the coach on edge because he knows that you can't expect your athlete to do something that you can't most of the time. Before you open your mouth and demand, you make sure you can do it yourself. This is a very military mentality. I mean, this is something I picked up being in commandos for like 12 years, so we make sure we can do it before we expect it of others. We might not be high-level technicians, but as a coach, you must be able to at least show that much that the athlete can pick it up. Okay, when we talk about coaching philosophy, there'll be loads of it along the way, but the one most key one that stands out will be to give everyone an opportunity in life. To me, I always believe I won't be here if someone else didn't give me the opportunity to learn. Like my mentors in Australia or US, if they didn't allow me to learn, I wouldn't be here. If athletes didn't give me the opportunity to coach them, I won't be here. I can only be a good coach when I've got good material to work with. So likewise, if anyone comes knocking on my doors, we don't turn them down, regardless of how good, how bad, whatever their background is. To me, we always believe, give the child an opportunity or the athlete an opportunity, and then we decide after that what happens. Because things can unfold along the way. Some will stay with you, some will leave, some want to give up. But that's subsidiary issues that happens along the way. Right at the start, we always believe, give everyone that opportunity to prove their worth.
started triathlon when I was 10 and I thought it was fun, so I joined. Well, I keep logbooks because my school wants me to keep track of my trainings, and after every training we'll have to write what we did and reflect, see how we can improve.
I think we look at the weekly training plan and then we decide, taking into consideration their workload in school too. Sometimes if they are too tired, we may actually tell her to, okay, maybe you lay off this swim session or this track session, you may cut down a little here and there. Or the week has been too long, maybe this Sunday we don't ride. So we do try to moderate it for her, but specific to the training itself, we usually leave it to the coaches. We don't interfere unless we really feel that she is pushing herself too hard. Then we will actually text the coach and tell the coach that Lizzie or team is a bit tired today, or Dom maybe can get a little bit of a discount on the training, and the coach are usually quite happy to do that.
I feel very grateful to have such supportive parents, and that they encourage us to take part in sports by coming to support us. And sometimes they join in with our races, then we'll be able to feel what it is like to support others as well. So I feel very lucky to have them as my parents.
I guess I would like to see them enjoy sports in future when they grow up, 5 years, 10 years time, 20 years time. Just lead a healthy lifestyle and continue to do sports and inspire people around them. And of course, if they can do very well, maybe one day they can represent Singapore, I don't know. But that would be nice. But of course, it's what they want, not what we want. Yeah. As long as they are enjoying it, that makes them happy and keep them healthy.